So if you guys hadn't seen on Twitter, I don't know, at least a month ago, I was like, that's it, we give up, Steve wins, because he used the Dominus board and a 3175X or W3175X, which is a 28 core, what is it, 52 threads? No, 56. That's a lot of threads in one CPU. And I was like, we don't even have the hardware to compete. That's all about to change, bitches. Today's video is brought to you by NordVPN. And look, I've said this in the past and I'm gonna say it every time. We live online. You're watching this online right now. But it's important to protect your internet experience from prying eyes, and that includes your ISP. They wanna shape your data and your traffic and not give you everything you paid for in terms of speed. With streaming websites like YouTube, Netflix, they're constantly trying to get involved and control your experience. That's why VPN is extremely important. It encrypts your data with military-grade encryption in one of their thousands of servers across the world, including regions like Africa, the Middle East, Asia, Australia. We've got servers across the world. Now right now, NordVPN is offering my viewers 75% off a 3-year membership, bringing your monthly cost down to less than that of a single Starbucks coffee. You should start protecting your internet experience and taking it serious today. You'll find a link in the description below, and if you use offer code JACE2cents at checkout, you'll get that deal I just mentioned. 75% off a 3-year membership, and people can stop spying on what you do. So do it right now. Now, a lot of you guys are already asking, and I've seen this asked a million times in our comments, Jay, why don't you just run Threadripper, like a W2990X or whatever that CPU is? It's something to do with the CCX and the way that 3D Mark TimeSpy Extreme is coded. It doesn't like Threadripper. Threadripper just does not perform well in that particular test. Even with a massive amount of cores, it just does not do well in that particular test. So we saw this at CES in a couple of builds. It's the widest motherboard I've personally ever had as well. This is the one that was kind of controversial last Computex, where they were like, look, it's the X599 or whatever, running at 5 gigs, but then it was using like a water chill. Oh my God. I thought I was gonna be presented with like, I don't know, some sort of suspense. Nope, you just open it up and it's like, there it is. So this is using, what socket is this? The LGA 3647. So 3,647 pins in this mother. This mounting mechanism is odd, right? This is very similar to like the Xeon mounting stuff. And so I don't have any way to mount anything down to this. So one of the reasons I'm doing this video today is to kind of bring you guys along for the ride of what's included with this. I don't want to mess with that yet. I have no idea how much any of this is. I'm sure you'd have to take out a second on your home to afford it. The processor itself is $3,000. I mean, this is like as big as Threadripper. And interestingly enough, you see the way it's split down the middle on the pins? It makes me wonder if this isn't 2 Xeons like underneath here. It'd be hilarious though if that was the case, because remember, Intel did make fun of AMD for gluing their CPUs together. I love that they give you all the Republic of Gamers like gaming stuff when this is really not a gaming board, like in the least. Are these the DIMM.2 with active cooling? They are, well, sort of an active cooling. Okay, so you get 2 DIMM.2s. Oh, that's amazing. So this is also a 6-channel motherboard. So this is 6 channels worth of memory. I'm planning on using our G-Skill RGB on it for now. It's not the same RAM we actually had our records and stuff with, because this is not the fastest RAM. It's funny, RGB RAM, because of the small amount of power that the LEDs consume, you'll very rarely find that anyone's got any sort of world record with RGB RAM. It's always basic, lighted RAM or lit RAM. This is only 3200 DIMMs. Obviously, we use 3800 that we overclock when we do our overclocking stuff. So I'll be using 6 of these 8 modules. So this is the DIMM.2, something you're very similar to seeing with ASUS ROG boards, only now you have 2 of them. Don't tell me, does it actually have RGB on this? It has RGB on this board, oh my God. Imagine you go in the data center. Yes. Holy crap, there's 4 fans on the VRM. Big old heat sink that runs along the whole top of the board. And then there are 4 fans in the top of that. Okay, so this video is kind of morphing into more of like just a walk around of the motherboard and kind of an overview. This is my first time getting hands-on with it. We saw it at CES. I don't have a cooling solution for this. So the LGA 3647, this is a Xeon socket. So there are EK water block. I think AlphaCool also makes a water block. that will fit on this. We don't have any of that. I wanted to do a boot test, which I probably will with Air, but I'm obviously not gonna be doing any testing on this with Air or overclocking, because this is an overclockable CPU, which kind of makes it unprecedented because Xeons have always been locked down. And this is basically, I mean, you saw Gamers Nexus hit what, 5.1 on water with his, chilled water, but still water nonetheless. So yeah, it's also a great option for people that need the type of workstation setup that you can get with this, with server grade stuff, but without the cost that goes associated with it. This is probably the only time you're gonna ever hear me say $3,000 is a bargain for a CPU, because this basically slides in where the 8180 would be in terms of core count and hyperthreading, but it doesn't have a $10,000 price tag with it, because for what we can tell, at least doing a quick search, is that this basically is an 8180 that's overclockable, but can't be linked with multi-proc motherboards. So you can't have multi-processor support, which the 8180 supports up to 8 CPUs, and that would be obviously for server grade stuff. So if you're looking for an extremely high-end workstation build, say you're a CAD designer, or this would be perfect for like a home server or even a small office server, this would definitely get the job done at $3,000 for that CPU, which, and last time I checked my math, is less than a third of the cost of an 8180. So yeah, I mean, that's how I said, this is the only time you're gonna ever hear me say something like this is a bargain if you fall under that extreme use case. Which is interesting though, because this is all set up for basically gaming. It falls under the Republic of Gamers naming and all that sort of stuff. So it's quite interesting that this exists in a consumer fashion. But anyway, we'll continue our walk around. Like I said, we'll figure out the cooling solution. We will definitely be stepping back into the arena with our overclocking competition with Steve. I'm gonna get this on LN2, just gotta figure out how. Power-wise, two 24-pin connectors on this. So you need 2 power supplies for this. If you were running it stock, you could probably have gotten away with one, but because this is overclockable, you know what happens when you pull more amps than your power supply and stuff can deliver? Fires become a bit of a concern, so we wanna make sure that doesn't happen. In terms of fan headers, we've got 6 of them right here, just 6 of them by the CPU. And then of course we've got some RGB headers, which I think is hilarious on this motherboard, because we've got an adjustable RGB and a non-adjustable RGB right there. USB 3.0 on the side, 2 U.2s, what is this, 2, 4, 6, 8 SATA connectors right there. A 6-pin PCI Express supplemental power to the PCI Express lanes, because although you have 4 sockets on here for PCI Express, or slots, you can run 4 graphics cards in this. Now, no, you can't do a 4-way SLI with RTX cards, but if you're using that extreme use case where you have a very powerful workstation and you're leveraging these cards for things like 3D rendering, real-time rendering for CAD drawings and stuff, then the graphics cards will be able to be leveraged, not in a gaming situation where they're SLI'd, but each individual card can be having a task associated with it. So you have another USB 3.0 on the bottom. With the amount of room there is on this board, I'm surprised they could have just stacked it with that one, kept it together, right? They have both power plugs together there, so why not do that over here? Holy crap. I just realized you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 8-pin EPS, plus 2 6-pin PCI Express on either side. This might be a system that would actually legitimately impact your monthly bill by putting it under load. The 2 white plugs down here, this is a water flow indicator, and then we have another water pump header right there. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more fan headers on the bottom, 2 USB 2.0s. This is an auxiliary plug to one of the boards that go inside, or that comes with this motherboard, because this also has a standalone fan controller that ASUS is known for, that plugs in, and then it's an expandable fan slots, if you will, that can be controlled independently. So you're gonna have already 12 fan headers plus however many more on that board, which is insane. We've got 2 more RGB headers at the bottom, another adjustable, another standard 12 volt, and then of course your front panel connectors. And yeah, so on the back side though, you've got 8 USB 3.0 right there, super speeds. Actually, I guess you got a total of 10, because the red ones are also super speed. Dual NIC Ethernet. We've got 2 USB Type-Cs, of course, our digital SPDIF, and then of course we have sound plugs, BIOS flashback, and clear CMOS on there. Oh, there's another fan header right there. Holy crap. So one on the other side too? Okay, there's another one there. So you've got 14 fan headers on the motherboard itself. This is like the board that just keeps on like surprising me. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to immediately start sourcing a cooler for this so that we can immediately still lose to Steve because he's running those Titans. But I digress. We will do what it takes, including taking those Titans out of that system if we have to, Or we're right around the corner from Kingpin cards. So I have a feeling the entire competition is going to equalize itself now that we have matching hardware for the CPU side, and I have a feeling that Kingpin cards are going to make their way into this competition in some way. So I had basically conceded, and then unconceded, officially, in this video. Steve, even if I don't win, I don't care. This is fun hardware to play with. You'd have to admit, like, you wouldn't turn down an opportunity to play with this, would you? No, I didn't think so. All right, guys, so anyway, that was our unboxing and look here at the ASUS Dominus Extreme. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun one. But I have a feeling that this one is going to also be a bit nerve-wracking because now the stakes just continue to get higher with more and more money on the line with this level of hardware. So yeah, completely unnecessary for what we do, but that's what makes it even more fun. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one. Oh, and did I tell you it has built-in wireless? Because, you know, why the hell not? This is like the heaviest motherboard box I've ever felt. Oh my God. watch the knife. Look at the knife. No, put your hand under it. Oh. Feel the weight. Oh!